When a medical professional gives me information about my child, how am I supposed to know that that's the truth? How am I supposed to know I'm not being manipulated again? And Hudson had asked my husband Brandon to play airplane with him. Brandon was laying on his back on the bed and holding Hudson up in the air, making all the airplane sound effects. We noticed this small little quarter-sized bump that's in his upper abdomen. When we went to touch it, he pulled back and he said it hurt for us to touch it. And we just noticed it was very firm to the touch. So firm that it almost felt like part of his rib. We just really had no idea what it could be. So we just decided, let's play it safe, let's go get it checked out. And so Hudson's in the room, they have his shirt off, and then the family nurse practitioner starts asking me about what happened, and I explained to her. She told me, we know this doesn't happen from playing airplane. She did that to my face. Then she says, oh, I play airplane with my child all the time and this doesn't happen. The doctor came in, looked over Hudson, and the doctor finally provided some answers. She said it's a bruise that has formed like a goose egg, and that Hudson was fine, and that I could just follow up with my pediatrician on Monday if I had any questions, which is great. This is the first answer I had.
This mother was wrongly accused of hurting her child by a doctor.
Family nurse practitioner comes back in the room and asks if she can take a picture of the bump on Hudson to send to the care teams to figure out what this is, which was weird to me because I thought we had just identified what it was. So I said, of course, and I did not know that the care team was the child team. She told me that she wanted to be real with me and that she knew the doctor thought this was just a bruise, but that she couldn't sleep that night if I didn't go have it checked out downtown, because I think this could also be a blood clot that got dislodged while you guys were playing airplane.
The nurse tried to guilt trip them into further tests.
I agreed, we're gonna go straight downtown to get this checked out. And she told me I could force you to ride by ambulance downtown, but I'm going to trust that you go straight there, but I just want to warn you, our systems talk to each other, and we'll be looking to make sure you check in downtown, and if you do not, then we will report you. We leave the urgent care thinking, okay, we can go downtown, avoid being reported to CPS by showing them we're cooperating. We got downtown though, and our experience at the ER was great. The ER doctor did an ultrasound, did an exam, just felt all over Hudson's abdomen. It didn't go deep enough to do any type of damage, and reassured us that Hudson was fine. She discharged us, and I felt so relieved. Monday rolls around. I work from home, so while Hudson was napping, I was logged in working, and then I got a call. And the woman said, this is Caitlin, and I'm just calling to see how Hudson's doing. Told her he was doing great and everything, and he was napping, and she said, oh, that's good to hear. Well, we would like to see him at the hospital tomorrow for some testing. That was confusing to me because I thought he was good, we were done. And then she said, well, we're really worried about Hudson, that he could have organ damage or a bruising issue. If he had organ damage, wouldn't you want him to come in right away and not just schedule an appointment for the next day? Like, that doesn't seem right. And then their own ER doctor had reassured us he was fine. That's when I asked, are you truly concerned about Hudson's health, or is this related to the threats from the urgent care? She said, well, yes, there is an open CPS case against you. And at this appointment tomorrow, we were going to run testing on Hudson, and we were going to screen you.
They hid the truth from her and tried to get her in under false pretense.
I hadn't heard from CPS yet, but then again, I did not know how these situations work. So I agreed to schedule this appointment. And I just told Caitlin it was pretty upsetting that they wouldn't be forthcoming with me. And she said, well, usually they do tell parents if the report comes from a children's doctor, but that this was an anonymous tip that had come in about us. At this point, I'm just really not believing much from Caitlin. I get off the phone and I basically just panic. That's when we come up with the idea of, okay, can we run these tests with our pediatrician who knows us well, who we trust? So I called Caitlin back and she said, yes, you can run those tests with your pediatrician, but I would advise you against doing that, because if there is something seriously wrong with Hudson, then you might not get the results back fast enough. Another scare tactic. So the next morning, got to the pediatrician's office, and I will never forget the look on our doctor's face. And she said, I just got off the phone with Caitlin, and they're saying that you left against medical advice, meaning that we left without being discharged. And she said, that doesn't sound like you guys. And of course told her, because we didn't do that. That was a lie. We had all the discharge paperwork. Our pediatrician reassured us that she would help us however she could, and she wasn't going to run all these invasive tests on Hudson. She knows he's not, and she's not going to put him through that. She did tell me, since I had been told there was an open CPS case, that CPS would be coming out to our house. That was the protocol, and so just to be expecting that, and that she would help however she could.
Luckily, their pediatrician was in their corner supporting them.
Brandon and I decide to contact an attorney, because if our pediatrician has been told we left AMA and I've been told all these lies, I mean, what has CPS been told? We waited every single day for CPS to show up, didn't hear from them. I was terrified at every knock at the door, every phone call. I did not know what to expect. So eventually we heard back from CPS, and it turns out there was never even an open CPS case against us. So we lived with that for 2 months. That affected us as parents, emotionally, mentally. I ended up getting Hudson's medical records, and then it turns out Caitlin was with CARE team, which is the child team. It's just ingrained in us to really trust healthcare professionals, which we should be able to do. That's really important. When they tell you, we're concerned your child has organ damage, you should be able to believe and trust that they truly are concerned your child has organ damage. They shouldn't be able to use something so scary as that to schedule a child abuse appointment unknowingly for your child. You should have informed consent. There is no accountability. We tried to go up the chain of commands, and we kept hearing mandatory reporting laws require us to report abuse. And that's true, but mandatory reporting laws don't require you to make up that a child has potential organ damage, that there's an open CPS case when there isn't, to tell a parent's pediatrician that the parents took the child AMA. When a medical professional gives me information about my child, how am I supposed to know that that's the truth? How am I supposed to know I'm not being manipulated again? It's very hard for me to trust.
We are so glad this family was able to get out of this difficult situation mostly unscathed. In the comments, people had nothing but support for them, with one person saying, "I'm so sorry. My anxiety is through the roof from hearing your story." While another said, "Honestly, I would have ran to our pediatrician too, told them everything." As always, thanks for watching Happiest. If you liked this content, then be sure to follow our other social pages for more videos like this. And of course, if you have any of your own videos that you'd like to share with us, be sure to send them in.